twisted obsession. The mysterious death of Yu Menglong has become one of the most explosive stories in China's entertainment world. Heavy-handed censorship by the CCP has only fanned public outrage. Vision Times reported on September 21st that the case has already drawn more than 15 billion clicks online. Up to now, the suspected mastermind behind Yu Menglong's abnormal and tragic death is still Xin Qi, a young big shot in China's film industry, who is said to be the illegitimate son of Kai Qi, who is the current first-ranked member of the Secretariat of the Chinese Communist Party. Xin Qi's mother is believed to be Tian Haiyan, sister of the wealthy tycoon Tian Hairong, who appeared on the guest list for a dinner at Building 18 of the Sunshine Upper East Compound in Beijing's Chaoyang district that we've reported previously. Reports say Hairong herself organized that event. Hairong's background is telling. She graduated from the Shanghai Theatre Academy in 1995 and married Xu Ming, former head of Dalian Scheid Group and financial white glove for the Debauchery family. Xu Ming once ranked among China's richest men with assets of 13 billion yuans, approximately $1.8 billion, before dying in the fallout of the Debauchery scandal. Hairong inherited his vast fortune. According to commentator Dayu, she wasn't just tied to money laundering schemes, but also the powerful figure Yu once rejected when he refused to play by the hidden rules. In retaliation, she froze his career for nearly 3 years. Xin Qi's influence reaches further still. He is rumored to be the hidden boss behind Tianyu, the only state-owned artist management company in China where both Yu Menglong and the late actor Qiao Renliang were signed. Qiao's suspicious death in 2016 still casts a shadow, and Tianyu's track record suggests a deep rot at its core. Yu himself left behind a chilling clue. In a leaked video, he shouted, "At 25, I was already being threatened by Yu." Born in 1988, he would have been 25 in 2013, the very year he debuted in Superboy. Leaks indicate Xin Qi's fixation on Yu began then, long before Yu's breakout role in Eternal Love in 2017. At first, he posed as an adoring fan, praising Yu's looks, but his admiration soured, turned sick and perverse, and eventually culminated in Yu's death. The night before his death, 17 people gathered for a banquet, Xin Qi and Tian Hairong among them. The pretext was a film project, but in reality they were discussing an underground money laundering operation worth tens of billions of US dollars. Yu not only refused to participate, he reportedly held a USB drive with recordings of the meeting. That decision cost him his life. A heartbreaking autopsy. What followed has shocked even seasoned observers. On September 14th, ex-user News Investigation reported that Yu's autopsy showed he had been injected with neurotoxins in his thigh, his blood alcohol measured at 3 times the lethal limit, his stomach contained traces of drug liquor and an unknown amount of drugs. There was DNA under his fingernails that did not belong to him. His wrists and neck bore clear bruises from restraints. These were not the injuries of a fall, they were the marks of a brutal beating. On September 20th, the same blogger reposted testimony from an overseas Chinese netizen whose relatives participated in the autopsy. The netizen wrote, "Yu's mother fainted several times from grief, though she also feared for the safety of her remaining family. The autopsy was conducted by my father's 2 younger brothers and an elder. They initially wanted to tell the public the truth, but the family and related parties requested secrecy. My uncles thought that was inhumane. My uncle said, when I saw it, I cried. I asked, is this really true? What did he go through before he was killed? My uncle simply answered, yes, and it was by other means. The poor child died." The blogger concluded that while the authenticity of these accounts cannot yet be fully confirmed, the CCP's refusal to release the actual report makes such detailed, logical testimony at least 60 to 70% believable. Yu suspected of being sacrificed for a CCP top leader. Today I came across another shocking detail, and it's worth sharing for us to think about. On September 19th, new reports pushed the case into even darker territory, linking it to Xi Jinping's own health and longevity. The coincidences are chilling. Shi was born on June 15, 1953. Yu Menglong was born on June 15, 1988. Same date, 35 years apart. Shi's father, Shi Zhongxun, was born on October 15, 1913. Actor Qiao Renliang, who died under similarly suspicious circumstances in 2016, was born on October 15, 1987. Once again, the dates matched. It's no secret that Shi is rumored to suffer from severe health problems, possibly even a critical illness, and reports this year suggest his condition has worsened. He is also known to place faith in superstition, raising the possibility that he might turn to bizarre methods to extend his life. In this context, the two deaths may have been used as a kind of sacrifice or ritual to ward off misfortune, intended to prolong the lives of top leaders. From this perspective, Yu Menglong's death looks less like an isolated crime and more like bait in a larger game. The goal may not have been only to expose scandals linked to Kai Chi or Shi, but to create a crime so entangled, so unsolvable, that Shi himself would be forced to spend all his power covering it up. Yet the more they try to suppress it, the more the abuse of power becomes visible. Leaked CCP order on Yu Menglong's death quickly resolve? The calls for justice for Yu Menglong refuse to die down. From Chinese forums to overseas platforms, his name still echoes, despite Beijing's frantic attempts to wipe it away. Such extreme suppression over the death of just one actor in the film industry is deeply suspicious. Analysts say this kind of response only makes sense if the case touches the core interests of the ruling elite. Otherwise, why would the CCP pour so many resources into silencing it? According to the Vision Times, authorities and police are now visibly worried that the scandal could overshadow the upcoming National Day on October 1st. That fear pushed the Cyberspace Administration of China into sudden action on September 20th. In detail, it issued two identical statements, blasting Kuaishou and Weibo for failing to meet their primary responsibility in information management. Hot search lists, they claimed, were clogged with harmful content, exaggerated gossip about celebrities' private lives and trivial scandals. The Beijing office was ordered to discipline the platforms, interviews, mandatory corrections within deadlines, stern warnings, and even harsh penalties for those responsible. Commentator Li Muyang relayed something even more explosive. A friend emailed him that the well-known Weibo Big V account, Lin Beichuan, had spoken out on Yu's behalf, revealing a secret 12-character order from the top. In Chinese, it was 12 characters. In English, it reads, "Do not pay attention, do not focus, quickly resolve." The price was immediate. Lin received a high-level warning, was summoned to Beijing, and vanished for 17 hours. Around the same time, a video surfaced showing Yu's grieving family kneeling and crying at the police station, while officers looked on coldly, refusing to act. Rumors swirled of a protective umbrella, shielding those involved in Chaoyang district. One blogger claimed that after Lin was forced back to Beijing, his Weibo account was confiscated, all reposts and comments hidden, his presence erased. Even his friends couldn't reach him. People hope he'll be safe, but the worry is real. Lin's background should have offered him protection. He's a so-called red descendant. But those he's up against are not ordinary figures. They are people with even harder, untouchable backgrounds. People like Xin Qi. Netizens claim an audio recording of security guards has leaked, saying all the property management firms belonged to Xin Qi's family, and that the entire developer was also theirs. That would explain why no surveillance footage exists. The whole property was under their control. Some even allege electromagnetic interference was used to jam signals in the community, preventing residents from sending out messages. So far, every trail points to the same conclusion. Xin Qi is backed by powerful forces at the top of the CCP. But if we allow fear of those forces to silence us, how many more Yu Menglongs will fall in the future? Clearly, Yu's death exposed not only the rotten underbelly of China's entertainment industry, but also pulled back the veil on the CCP's long-festering disease, a rot that has spread since the Jiang Zemin era and continues to poison the system today. CCP debauchery, from the top down, Yu Menglong was not the only victim. On September 16th, China Outlook published an article titled, "From the Top Down, Yu Menglong was not the only one ravaged." The article pulled no punches. It argued that China's red aristocracy, arrogant and lawless, set the standard for corruption and sexual debauchery across the entire system. In fact, it claimed, the Communist Party's history is little more than a history of obscenity. Take the past few decades. When Jiang Zemin ruled China, he picked Song Zuying of the Navy Song and Dance Troupe as his mistress. By 1991, their affair was already an open secret. When the chairman of the Central Military Commission acted this way, the generals beneath him eagerly followed. The military art troupe soon turned into harems for senior officers. Among the most infamous, folk singer Tang Can, a household name in mainland China. Former Navy Deputy Commander Wang Shouye kept a stable of mistresses from the art troops. Their jealous feuds grew so vicious that he funneled hundreds of millions of yuan in corrupt funds just to keep them quiet. Former Deputy Director of the General Logistics Department Gu Junshan was even more brazen. He once bragged, "I'm tired of playing with Chinese actresses. I can buy any of them with money." The article described how, after Xu Kaiho, vice chairman of the Central Military Commission, moved to Beijing, Gu followed close behind, using women as his main tool to curry favor in 3 shocking steps. Step 1. The masseuse. Gu arranged for a sultry young woman to give Xu a massage. Xu's wife, Zhao Li, stormed in, furious. "Who brought this little seductress here?" Gu quickly whisked Zhao away for dinner. By the time they returned that evening, Zhao walked back in arm with Gu, her anger gone. Step 2. The performers. Gu presented Tang Can and other actresses to Xu. Step 3. The unthinkable. Gu offered up his own 20-year-old daughter, still a virgin. Reports say that while Xu was with her in the inner room, Gu sat calmly in the outer room, his face expressionless. Such devotion paid off. Within 8 years, Gu rocketed up 5 ranks, rising from Deputy Director of a logistics branch to Deputy Director of the General Logistics Department itself. The article also spotlighted former Navy Commander Zhang Dingfa, who climbed the ladder the same way. Zhang's motto was simple: seize the moment for pleasure, and by pleasure he meant sex. Complaints and investigations couldn't slow him down. He kept being promoted with illness, all the way up to Navy Commander. Along the way, he maintained affairs with female officers and local women. His wife repeatedly filed complaints, but it didn't matter. Stationed in Qingdao, famed for its beautiful women, Zhang indulged freely, taking sexual bribes from subordinates and businessmen. After becoming Navy Chief of Staff and then Deputy Navy Commander in 2000, his behavior only worsened. On weekends and holidays, he traveled to Qingdao and Dalian for trysts with young women. During troop inspections in Qingdao, Dalian, and Zhanjiang, he slipped away to naval clubs and private venues for more indulgence. The article warned that this unchecked debauchery helped spread AIDS throughout the military. At the end of 2005, a man died of AIDS in the senior ward of the PLA's elite 301 hospital. Medical staff who had contact with him were tested. One female cadre from the hospital's political department tested positive. She turned out to be the wife of a former Navy political commissar's secretary. She admitted she had slept with more than 20 men just within the hospital alone, not even counting those outside. Reports say that ever since Jiang Zemin's affair with Song Zuying in the 1990s, AIDS began spreading widely in the PLA. Infection rates among senior officers at corps, division, and army levels soared. In the senior wards of military hospitals in Nanjing, Guangzhou, and Shenyang, 20% of patients were diagnosed with STDs, including AIDS. When Hu Jintao took command of the military, he issued strict orders. No branch, region, or garrison could recruit civilian women into military clubs or guest houses, and those already hired had to be dismissed. But most units ignored the directive, staging token compliance for inspections. Debauchery carried on unchecked, and AIDS kept spreading. If this was the state of the military, the political world was even worse. In September 2004, foreign media reported that the Central Commission for Discipline Inspection and the CCP's Organization Department issued a directive. Any official who contracted syphilis, gonorrhea, HIV, or other STDs through personal misconduct would be stripped of all party and public posts. But investigations uncovered so many infected officials that the rule was quietly shelved. Instead, the party adopted a policy of tolerance, allowing disease to spread even faster among officials. Hong Kong's Chengming magazine reported in May 2015 that of more than 1,470 senior officials prosecuted over the previous 3 years, more than 1,200 were found to be suffering from sexually transmitted diseases. The outlet also revealed that Zhou Yongkang, Ling Jihua, and Xu Kaiho were among those with venereal diseases. Rumors even circulated that Xu did not die of bladder cancer, as officially claimed, but from complications related to AIDS. In June 2015, Hong Kong's Dongsheng magazine disclosed that CCDI chief Wang Qishan admitted in a meeting that during 2013-2014, 65% of corruption cases involving party and government officials were tied to extramarital affairs or sex-for-power transactions. In economic corruption cases, the number was even higher, 85%. Overall, nearly 70% of reported cases of misconduct by public officials involved affairs and sex-for-power deals. The story of Yu Menglong began as a tragedy in China's entertainment world. But by peeling back the layers, it revealed something far more sinister. A party that rots from within. A culture of debauchery and corruption stretching back to the Jiang Zemin era, and a system so diseased it now devours the people. What happened to Yu is not an isolated crime. It is the symptom of a regime where power is preserved through fear, where human lives can be sacrificed for money, for status, even for the illusion of everlasting life. And the cover-up only confirms it. The higher the silence, the deeper the guilt. So the question remains, how many more Yu Menglongs must fall before the truth breaks free? What do you think? Share your thoughts in the comments. We'd love to hear your perspective. If you found this analysis valuable, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so you won't miss what's coming next. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next episode.